Hey guys, welcome back. Today I am going to tell you guys a little bit more about myself so you guys have a little better understanding about me and what I'm going through, and hopefully this can bring light to the situation and help other people in the same situation and maybe prevent this from happening in the future. But we are going to talk a little bit about fetal alcohol syndrome disorder today. But before we get in the video, I just want to let you guys all know, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss anything, and hit that bell so you get notified anytime I make new videos. So let's get into the video. Poor memory, trouble with attention and with processing information, difficulty with reasoning and problem solving, difficulty identifying consequences of choices, poor judgment, jitteriness or hyperactive, rapidly changing mood. And how much I was affected: I deal with poor coordination balance on a daily basis. I deal with intellectual disability, learning disorder, and delayed development, where I learn slower than an average person. I read at a slower rate, where my reading comprehension is up to par with my age. I barely graduated high school because of my learning disorder. And a lot of people with fetal alcohol syndrome just don't go to college, period. I opted out and went for a dog training certificate. I deal with difficulty reasoning and problem solving. A lot of times a disabled person will not think everything through, and they'll only think 50% of it through instead of 100% through. Sometimes they won't think any of it through, and they'll just say the first thing that comes to their head instead of think, should I say this? I want to say this to the person, but should I? Is this the right thing to say? And sometimes I omit, sometimes I don't think it all the way through. I just blurt out the first thing, and then afterwards I'm like, oh crap. Most of the time I go, oh crap, and realize. Sometimes I don't think 100% through, but I also have poor judgment skills. My judgment skills aren't 100% there. I would say they're decent, but they're not up to par with my age. They're not fully there. Rapid mood changes. I don't have it that bad, but I do every once in a while get a mood change for nothing. You'll just be sitting here talking about the sky being blue, and all of a sudden I'll have a mood change and go off, and I try to control it. I try to find ways to work on it. I find ways to not have as many rapid mood changes or not have them at all. You can also have social and behavioral issues like difficulty in school, trouble getting along with others, poor social skills, trouble adapting to change or switching from one task to another, problem with behavior and impulse control, poor concept of time, problems staying on task, difficulty planning or working towards a goal. With me, I have difficulty in school, and that goes along with a learning disability. Most people with fetal alcohol syndrome, they try as hard as they can, and probably a lot of other disabilities can only get a C average in school, and that's where I was at. I have poor social skills. I work on them all the time, but they're not up to par with people my age, and I try to do the best I can with them. I have some poor concept of time. For the most part, it's just fine. A lot of fetal alcohol syndrome people never live on their own. They never make enough to live on their own, and they physically cannot live on their own for the disability issues that they have. But for my case, I can live a pretty normal life. Every once in a while, I have to go through the back door or take the long way around instead of just going like everybody else right through the front door. Sometimes I have to take 3 times to 4 times longer than everybody else to do something. But in the end, I can still get there just like everybody else. For the most part, I can do anything a non-disabled can do, but that's not the case for everybody. I live a pretty non-disabled, normal life. I don't make friends very easily because who wants to be friends with a disabled person? And drinking while pregnant is more common than you would think. And the best thing, I can say for people is don't drink while pregnant. It's not worth it. It really is not. Not only affecting yourself, but you're affecting somebody else. And the child then has to live the rest of their lives with your consequence, with your issue. I would not wish it on anybody. A lot of people, when they're drinking while pregnant, they don't realize what they're doing. They don't realize that they're not just harming themselves, they're harming somebody else. And now the child comes out with fetal alcohol syndrome, and you need to realize that. And if you drink too much, you come out with a kid that's not even born. Your kid could just die in your womb, and that's another sad sad thing. People might think this is genetic. It's not. Unless you drink, you're not giving it to nobody. Some people, they don't realize, or they don't get the help they need quick enough. Alcoholism and alcohol is a real big problem right now, and people need to realize that if you are a drinker and you're giving a higher risk to your kid to follow in your footsteps, can cause the fetal alcohol syndrome to have brain damage and growth. Like I said, the problems vary from child to child, and what you have to remember is brain damage is a serious thing. Have a lot of cognitive disorder from it. Here's a good example. When you're driving down the road and you run into a tunnel, and all you see is the inside of the tunnel, and all you can see is this 2-foot wide tunnel, nothing else, nothing more. That's a lot of my life. See a lot of just tunnel vision and don't see anything outside the tunnel. But the most important thing to remember is fetal alcohol syndrome is not reversible. Once the kid has it, they have the rest of their life. It doesn't get any better, it doesn't get any worse, and it doesn't get better over time either. And the best thing you can do is just help the kid the best they can through educating yourself and taking your kid to a neuropsychologist about fetal alcohol syndrome, and work with the school and help get it into programs like disability vocational rehab and things like that, so you can work on the transition from a teenager to an adult, and ways you can help your kid with his adulthood and the rest of his life. And that way you can make a slow transition instead of just boom boom bang and he's an adult and into the real world. We just can't be put into adulthood like everybody else. We have to take it slow. We have to do different things. We have to go about it differently. We have to get special help. Some of us, depends on how bad you are, some of us have to go through life skills class, learn the basic life skills, because some of us just don't grasp it or don't understand before we can hit adulthood and become an adult. Some of us have difficulty on the job. I have difficulty with multitasking, and things like that. A lot of us can't hold a job, but don't hesitate to ask any questions about it. I will answer anything you guys may have. I have no problem answering any questions. I can only answer questions based on what I've experienced, but I will try to answer any questions you guys have to the best of my ability. And I hope that people know that they're not alone, and I hope that this educates somebody somewhere and opens your eyes to alcohol can do some serious damage on the person. But you just have to realize that this is a serious matter. If you guys have any questions regarding my fetal alcohol syndrome, or what I've went through, or anything about fetal alcohol syndrome in general, leave a comment down below and I'll try to get back to you as quickly as possible and answer to the best of my ability. Don't hesitate to ask anything. But causes of fetal alcohol syndrome: when you drink while pregnant, the alcohol enters your bloodstream and reaches your developing fetus by crossing the placenta. Alcohol causes higher blood alcohol concentrations in your developing baby than in your body because a fetus metabolizes. Alcohol causes higher blood alcohol concentrations in your developing baby than in your body because a fetus metabolizes alcohol slower than an average adult. Alcohol causes higher blood alcohol concentrations in your developing baby than in your body because a fetus metabolizes alcohol slower than an adult does. Alcohol interferes with the delivery of oxygen and optimal nutrition to your developing baby. Exposures to alcohol before birth can harm the development of tissues and organs and cause permanent brain damage in your baby. The more you drink, the more risks you have. You will have an unborn baby. You could be putting your baby at risk before you even realize you're pregnant if you drink alcohol. So don't drink alcohol if you're pregnant. Don't drink alcohol if you think you might be pregnant. Don't drink alcohol if you're trying to become pregnant. There's also problems that don't appear at birth that can be a problem. Let's say you have 20 problems and say 5 of them won't become a thing, won't become an issue, and won't start until, say, the kid's 10. It just depends on what the issue is. Or maybe you've got 10 problems wrong at birth, and 5 of them, you won't notice these 5 until the kid's 10. It depends on what you have in the kid. For example, ADHD, you can have that at birth. You won't notice until kid gets older. It won't become an issue till it's older. You could have aggressive, inappropriate social conduct and breaking rules and laws. Again, You can have that at birth. Everything you have is caused from the alcohol at birth, but they don't start using them. You don't start seeing them until they get older. It's not that you start getting worse, you just don't see some of these. They're out of the way at birth. Alcohol and drug misuse. People with fetal alcohol syndrome have a higher risk of drug misuse. Mental health disorders such as depression, anxiety, and eating disorders. Problems staying in or completing school. Problems with independent living and with employment. Inappropriate sexual behaviors, early death by accidents, homicide or suicide. Like I touched on earlier, problems holding a job, you have problems living on your own, you just stay with your parents the rest of your life. A lot of these people don't have any family, or their family all died off, and so they are stuck in group homes. I'd like to end it on a note to say that there is things you can do to prevent your kid from having fetal alcohol syndrome. One of the big main things I've said over and over and over again, don't drink alcohol if you're trying to get pregnant. If you haven't already stopped drinking, stop as soon as you know you're pregnant, or if you even think you might be pregnant. It's never too late to stop drinking during your pregnancy, but the sooner you stop, the better it is for your child. Continue to avoid alcohol throughout your pregnancy. Fetal alcohol syndrome is completely preventable in children whose mother don't drink during pregnancy. Consider giving up alcohol during your childbearing years. You're sexually active and you're having unprotected sex. Many pregnancies are unplanned, and damage can occur in earliest weeks of pregnancy. Other ways to prevent from your kid having fetal alcohol syndrome is you have an alcohol problem. Get help before you get pregnant. Get professional help to determine your level of dependency on alcohol and to develop a treatment plan. I can't stress this enough. Never, ever, ever have a child if you have substance abuse, because it not only hurts you, it also hurts your child growing up, and it also could affect the child while it's in your womb and while you're pregnant. I have had lots of alcohol issues growing up with other family members, and it took a toll on me, and it was hard on me. But please, please, please prevent yourself from drinking while pregnant. It is really nothing to be messing with. But anyways, that's been Lindsay signing off. Peace. Like I said, if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments below. If you'd like to see more content like this or anything else, feel free to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so you don't miss another video like this. And all my social will be in the description below if you want to follow me elsewhere. Thanks for watching.